Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another reaction. And how would you feel if you were a coach that, of course, you created? I don't even know how to even describe it. You're a coach that, no. I'm saying it wrong. You're a person who created and built, orchestrated a team, an organization down to the teeth. Down to the teeth, guys. Guys, we got another Red Auerbach reaction. This is for you guys. I'm creating a Red Auerbach series for you guys that's been down in that comment section, and y'all just been recommending and telling me, hey man, this guy right here, check him out. He's the real deal. He's the one that built and created all of these things. I can't jump into a Larry Bird series and not know about the guy who paved the way and created everything, man. All right, we're gonna jump into this one. Without further ado, let's jump right in.
The biggest winner in NBA history isn't Michael Jordan, it's not Phil Jackson or Bill Russell. With 16 NBA championship rings, it's Red Auerbach, legendary coach and general manager of the Boston Celtics. Auerbach was a basketball. The biggest winner in NBA history isn't Michael Jordan, it's not Phil Jackson or Bill Russell. With 16 NBA championship rings, it's Red Auerbach, legendary coach and general manager of the Boston Celtics. Auerbach was a basketball pioneer who introduced the fast break to the NBA. He was also the first person to draft a black player and hire a black head coach. Many of his principles were copied by some of the most successful coaches.
Okay, there's too many things going on in these first couple of seconds of the video. Number one, 16 championships, all right, and 30-year span. 8 championships in a row, right? I believe they won their first championship, the Boston Celtics organization, when they picked up Bill Russell and Bob Cousy and all the guys. And number one, he played the game of basketball when he was younger. Had a passion to coach. Look at where he is right now. Man, the winningest coach, man, in the history of basketball. That's crazy. And I'm just hearing that he created the fast break. Is that correct? Comment down below, guys. Let me know.
Coaches in NBA history, like Pat Riley and Greg Popovich. And when you see players smoking cigars after they win the NBA title, it's a tradition that came from Red, who used to light up after every blowout win. This is the story of Red Auerbach, the man who built the Boston Celtics. Auerbach's real name was Arnold, but because of his ginger hair, everybody called him Red. Young Red was a basketball fanatic, and he was among the best players in New York at the high school level. In college, Red was the team captain and the leading scorer in the city of Washington. But because he had asthma and was only 5'9", college ball was the furthest he could go.
Okay, he was 5'9". Damn, I did not know about the asthma in the previous video. So this is more of a deeper breakdown. Damn, having asthma. How long did he have asthma? And him being able to play the game of basketball and having asthma, when did that develop? Was it during? Was it before? Or was it after? Guys, let me know down in the comment section. I respect. Now, I'm not going to say that all coaches need to play the game of basketball, but the thing is, just got to have a passion for the game of basketball. That's what's going to take you far, whether you're a coach, whether you're a player, even being a basketball fan and just enjoying it, as entertainment. So, I mean, man, this guy is good. He's good.
However, basketball was his calling, so Red did everything possible to stay connected to the game. In 1940, Red became a gym teacher and basketball coach for a high school team, after which he coached for the U.S. Navy team, and for a while, he even worked as a referee. Red had no experience.
He worked as a referee. He coached the U.S. Navy team. Guy is unbelievable.
in professional sports. But after Washington millionaire Mike Uline heard about his passion for the game, he hired Auerbach to coach the Washington Capitals in the newly founded Basketball Association of America, BAA. With the Capitals, Red quickly gained the reputation for being extremely tough on his players in practice. But as a result, the Capitals were better conditioned than any other team in the league. During his first year in 1947, Washington went 49-11, setting the league record for consecutive wins at 17. In his third season, the Capitals reached the finals, but against the Lakers and the most dominant player in the world, George Mikan. They lost 4-2. The ultra-competitive Red felt that the team needed some fresh blood, but the owner did not want to sign new players, so the angry Red quit. And in the 1949-50 season,
Bro, we going too fast all at once. We going too fast. Hey, shout out to the content creator, man. Hey, yo, 49-11, 17 wins in a row. And yo, this guy's good. He's good. I don't know what kind of like mentality or approach he takes to the game as far as coaching, because it's not easy coaching a team. But just I want to know how he thought about what he thought about, how he taught them the system that he wants them to play. I got so much questions right now. I have so much questions right now. No, this is good.
When the BAA and the National Basketball League, NBL, united and created a league under the name that we still know today as the NBA, Red became the coach of the Tri-Cities Blackhawks. But after the Blackhawks owner traded a player without letting Red know about it, Auerbach again quit after just one season. Because of his fiery temper and 2 early exits just 4 years into his coaching career, Red's future in the NBA was in jeopardy. Luckily for him, when the Boston Celtics owner Walter Brown got fed up with his team losing all the time, he formed an advisory board to make a recommendation for the next head coach, and they all gave the same name, Auerbach. However, Red's career in Boston turned into a disaster before he even coached.
Okay, hold on. I gotta make a point here. How you gonna trade somebody without your coach knowing? Number one, I don't blame him for quitting. Okay. And then there was a first time around where he quit. I don't blame him. You know why? Because he has a fiery passion for the game of basketball. He knows. He knows. He knows. He knows what he's looking for. He knows what he wants. But I feel him on that one. Of course, he's the head coach, but there's somebody, ahead of him, on top of him that could just make moves and stuff. But it's all about communication, though. What if he really liked that player that they traded away? What if he was gonna work with that player to, improve their game or whatever it is, make them a focal point and the team's, system. So, man, him just leaving and quitting, I don't blame him at all.
Single game. In the 1950 draft, the whole state of Massachusetts wanted a gifted player out of local Holy Cross College, Bob Cousy. And yet, Auerbach didn't want to hear about it. Am I supposed to win or please the local yokels? Jokingly adding that Cousy had too much hair for his liking. So, the Celtics passed on Cousy during the draft, to a great distaste of the Celtics fans. However, Cousy refused to play for the Blackhawks, the team that drafted him, and the Chicago Stags, who had the next pick, went bankrupt. So, against all odds, Cousy became a Celtic. But what happened next changed NBA.
Bro, what in the... You didn't want the player. The player ended up going to the Blackhawks. Then going to another team, which is bankrupt. And it fell right in your lap. Bro, that is crazy. Hey, everything happens for a reason.
NBA history forever, With the 12th overall pick, Auerbach selected Chuck Cooper, who became the first black player drafted to the NBA. With that move, Red broke the racial barrier in the NBA, daring to make a move that most were not ready for at the time. When the season started, the relationship between Auerbach and Cousy improved. With Cousy's brilliance as a playmaker and drafting another Hall of Fame guard in Bill Sharman, the Celtics played very well over the next few seasons, consistently making the playoffs. And it was during this time that Auerbach began smoking his famous victory cigars on the bench, which became his trademark. I decided if we had a game comfortably in hand, I'd light up a cigar and just sit back. That ended up becoming the signal to people that we'd won the game, so guys started calling it my victory cigar. Auerbach. His opponents.
Hey, that's different, man. That is different. That you start a trend in the NBA. That you start your own trend. The victory cigar. Because you know the game is out of reach. Oh, let's sit back. He don't have to do anything for the next, I don't even know, 10, 12, 5, 2 minutes, 1 minute left in the game. Because he knows the victory is already his. Oh, that is different.
Hated his cigar smoking, but so did some of the Celtics. Once he went for the cigar, the other team's intensity went up 100%. I hated that thing. Bob Cousy. Though Auerbach lit up plenty of cigars in these years, he had not yet smoked after the final game of the season, as the Celtics kept losing in the playoffs. And after 10 years in the league, Auerbach had not yet won a title. He was earning a reputation for being a coach that couldn't take his team over the hump. To take his team to the next level, Auerbach needed a superstar player. He needed Bill Russell. But as the Celtics were never bad enough to get the top pick in the draft, getting a top collegiate player like Russell was almost impossible. And that's when Auerbach's genius came into play, reshuffling the deck in his favor. Auerbach first traded All-Star Ed Macauley and Cliff Hagan to the St. Louis Hawks to move up in the 1956 NBA draft and secure the second pick. The Hawks didn't want to draft Russell because their owner was racist, so they were glad to make the deal with the Celtics. Still, Red needed another miracle because the Rochester Royals also wanted Russell, and they were picking number 1. Since the Celtics owner also owned the Ice Capades, a hit ice skating traveling show, Auerbach convinced Rochester to pass on Russell in exchange for several Ice Capades performances over the years. The puppeteering worked, and with Russell on board, the Celtics made the finals for the first time in franchise history.
Hey, he's a mastermind. He's a mastermind, man. He's thinking about business. Again, if you really think about it, like what? Like, if you really think about it, you got somebody that you want, and you know you got to make some moves, and you got to negotiate, you got to talk to some people. This guy is good, man. He's good. He got Bill Russell, but here's a hypothetical. What would have happened if it didn't work out and he wasn't able to get Bill Russell? What would happen there? Who would he have drafted hypothetically if it wasn't Bill Russell and he wasn't able to get Bill Russell? So this guy's a genius when it comes to the basketball, to coaching, now being like in charge of making moves. Crazy.
And it was against the Hawks. It was a matchup that held enormous significance because of the Russell trade and the racial tension he faced in every game in St. Louis. Before the start of Game 3 of the finals, the Celtics complained that one of the baskets in St. Louis was lower than prescribed, after which the Hawks owner Ben Kerner ran up to Auerbach and cursed him out. Auerbach did not like to be yelled at, and he especially didn't like racists. So he knocked Kerner flat out, which earned him a lot of respect and admiration in Boston.
That's what I'm talking
NBA,
about.
A coach who hit an owner would probably get suspended and banned for life. But in the 50s, Red was only fined $300 after the game.
300? Bro, do you know what 300 is? I already know, probably 300 at that time meant a lot. Imagine nowadays, 25,000, 50,000, I don't know, 100,000 fines, and man's got clocked. He clocked the owner of the other team, bro. That's big respects. Just to get a $300 fine. That ain't. Hey, put it on my tab. Let's keep it pushing. Hey, man, that's dope. Big respects to this coach.
to coach Game 3, like nothing ever happened. The Celtics, however, did lose that game, but the series was incredibly close, and after 6 games, it was tied at 3 games apiece. In Game 7, there was no winner in regulation, nor after the overtime. And then finally, in the second OT, the Celtics managed to break the Hawks, winning their first ever NBA title. Next year, the same opponents made the finals, and the Celtics were the heavy favorites for a repeat. However, after Bill Russell injured his ankle and missed 2 games of the series, the Hawks won the championship in 6 games. But this loss in 1958 would mark the only playoff series Boston lost for the next 8 years. With 8 NBA championships in a row, the Celtics became the biggest dynasty in NBA and American sports history. And without diminishing Russell's greatness, Cousie's playmaking, Tom Heinsohn's scoring, and the versatility of Sam Jones and John Havlicek, the biggest reason for the Celtics' success was Auerbach. Auerbach instilled something he called the Celtics pride, which was a code that every Boston player had to honor and live by. When he was asked about how he motivates his players, Red simply answered, "Pride of excellence, pride of winning." I tell our guys, isn't it nice to go around all summer and say that you're a member of the greatest basketball team in the world? Auerbach was always regarded as a coaching genius, but he wasn't some revolutionary X's and O's guy. During his time in Boston, the Celtics only had 7 basic set plays. But Red's true value was extracting the most out of everybody, making his guys play as a true team and keeping everybody in line with his system.
Our practice sessions are tough, and we play a long, hard season.
Red hated stats, and to him, only one statistic mattered.
No way, no way, no way. He hated stats. I'm pretty sure he only cared about one stat. W. W-I-N. Win. What? Now, this is getting deeper. These are the type of coaches that I like, that I love. They're not looking for stats. They're not looking for nothing. Yo, once you come into this organization, you come to this team, throw that ego and pride out the door. Throw that pride and ego out the door. It's all about the team. How can you benefit the team? It's not about you. It's not about I get the points. I get the rebounds. I get the assist. Stat padding. Not about none of that. That's a great coaching style. Winning 8 championships in a row. How can you push the guys? And he said it. He said it. Pushing the guys, man. Thinking about the summertime. After you're done playing, you are the best team. You won the championship. Now you can walk around like, hey, man, you the man. Bro, that is absolutely crazy.
Scoring more points than the opponent. Auerbach never put focus on one individual player, and he looked at his players as a single living organism, where each player contributed in their own way. Many of his players were Hall of Famers who could have had better individual stats if they played somewhere else. But Auerbach made everybody buy into the team concept, with no exception. And if a player didn't want to play by his rules, they were traded.
Get him out of there.
Individual honors
Get him out of there.
But no Celtic has ever gone out of his way to achieve them. We have never had the league's top scorer. In fact, we won 7 league championships without placing even one among the league's top 10 scorers. For Red, he believed that the best shooter on the team had to shoot more than others, but that the others had to shoot the ball enough to keep the offense balanced. And Wilt Chamberlain, the Celtics and Bill Russell's biggest rival, completely agreed with Auerbach.
If Wilt Chamberlain played for the Boston Celtics, he would have taken away from maybe a Heinsohn, maybe a Sam Jones, maybe a Cousy, because I could put the ball in the basket and I would take some of their shots away from them. And that might not have been for the perfect team.
Because of Red and his core values, the Celtics were the first organization to popularize the concept of the role player and celebrate the value of the sixth man. While not starting would create jealousy and imbalance in other franchises, this was never the case with the Celtics. This was their secret weapon. That's where a lot of coaches make a lot of mistakes. They use their 5 best players, not the 5 who are going to win. The value of harmony and putting the team before the individual was a big reason why the Celtics kept winning year after year, and why they could seamlessly plug in younger players when their vets got older. It was a win-win scenario. because the younger players had veterans ready to teach them and not fight them for playing time. Auerbach
Who remember them times where, of course, you know, you had some rookie hazing and all that stuff. I like what's being told here. The unselfishness of the team, the unselfishness of the system that he's good. Imagine having a coach and you have star players, right? You got star players, of course, but it's more so about the role players. It's about that last person on the bench. How can they contribute to the Boston Celtics' success? Right. How can you extract the strengths out of them? Right. How can you improve their weakness and make their weakness their strength as well? This guy, he's a player's coach, man. He coaches hard during practice. Really good, right? It's about the mentality. It's all about up here. And you got a coach that wants to, that's willing to, push you beyond improving, man. That is good. The
was also a
unselfishness.
big believer in basketball fundamentals, and he always wanted his players to play as simple as possible and as
Nice.
hard as they possibly could.
Look at
This
the
meant
drills.
not dribbling the ball too much and remembering that passing is the fastest method of advancing the ball.
No pass is a good one unless you catch it.
And resting on defense was the biggest transgression of them all. You can make 1,000 mistakes as long as you hustle, said six-time All-Star Tom Heinsohn. But Red wasn't just the Celtics head coach. He was also the general manager, the team's road manager, and a scout. He was working 16 hours a day, putting all his heart and soul into the team. The job,
Bro, 16 hours a day. General manager, being a scout, head coach, game planning. Nowadays, I was always wondering about this. Right? I'm always looking at details on the court. You'll see a head coach like in the front bench, the players, and then you will see like maybe 6 assistant coaches or something like that, something in that sort. And I'm like, damn, okay. I mean, look at it. Red Auerbach did it all on his own. So I mean, they're trying to create something like, hey, let's alleviate the stress on the head coach. One coach focus on this, one coach focus on that, and then they just split it, something like that. But him doing it all, come on, man, greatest coach of all time.
and all the duties he was handling in the 50s and 60s are now done by more than a dozen assistant coaches, video analysts, and advanced scouts. This hectic schedule took a big toll on Red, and so he decided to retire after the 1966 season. In the last regular season game in 1966 against the Cincinnati Royals, the Royals management gave out 5,000 cigars to fans in a plan that the entire arena lit up their cigars after they beat the Celtics.
No.
When Auerbach got word of this stunt, he stormed into the locker room and gave a fiery pregame speech. To little surprise, the Celtics destroyed the Royals, and the only one who smoked the victory cigar was Red. Boston then defeated the Royals in the first round of the playoffs, whooped Wilt and the Sixers, and in Auerbach's last NBA Finals as the head coach, Boston beat the Lakers in another 7-game classic. After 9 titles in 10 years and 20 overall seasons as an NBA head coach, Auerbach stepped down, retiring as the all-time leader in wins and winning percentage. From the 1967 season onward, Red was the general manager for the Celtics, handing over the coaching duties to Bill Russell, who served as a player coach. Auerbach, the Celtics, and Russell made history once again because Bill became the first black head coach in NBA history and the first black coach in any major sport in America.
I think that's the first time I ever remember that a coach or a manager has been appointed and there was questions about his qualifications, which irritated me to no end because I knew it was strictly a racial thing.
Without Red on the bench, the Celtics immediately relinquished the crown and were finally defeated by Chamberlain and his 76ers, not even making the finals. But Russell was too proud too relentless and too good to fail, and he led Boston to 2 more championships against Wilt, after which he retired as both a player and a coach. Since 1956, when Russell got drafted, the Celtics won an unprecedented 11 out of 13 championships. However, after Russell's retirement, many wondered if Auerbach could win without a superstar center. And despite all those titles, Red entered a new decade with a chip on his shoulder. In the first season without Russ, the Celtics had a losing season and missed the playoffs for the first time since Auerbach joined the team in 1950. But unlike ever before, this meant the Celtics had a high draft pick, which Auerbach used on Dave Cowens, an undersized 6'8" center, joining him with Havlicek and second-year point guard JoJo White. Cowens wasn't a defender like Russell, but he was a better scorer and a phenomenal rebounder. And soon, their new Big Three started dominating, winning 2 more championships in 1974 and 1976. As the decade came to a close, the Celtics got older and started to struggle again.
Hold on. Sorry, I gotta pause. I gotta do the math. What was that? 11 out of 13. They should be at 13 championships right now. And we didn't even get to 1979 moving forward.
But because they missed the playoffs in 1978, they again had a high draft pick. Unfortunately, the 1978 draft wasn't rich in talent, and Red didn't believe he could draft a superstar to lead his franchise to new championships. Except there was one player he believed could become a superstar in the NBA, Larry Bird. But there was a big problem. Bird was still a junior at Indiana State, and NBA rules stated that players had to be in college for 4 years before they were drafted. Furthermore, Bird had made it clear that he would be returning to play collegiate basketball the next year. So, no NBA GM really gave much thought about drafting Larry, except Auerbach. Because Bird enrolled at Indiana University in 1974, but dropped out only a few weeks into his first semester, by technicality, he was eligible to get drafted. However, drafting him was very risky, because Larry could re-enter the draft after his senior season. But Auerbach was willing to gamble. With the 6th pick in the 1978 draft, the Celtics picked Bird, which was a shock to the rest of the NBA. Larry went on to win 33 games in a row and the Collegiate Player of the Year award, after which he considered entering the draft because he knew he was going to be drafted first overall in 1979. But then Auerbach visited his home in French Lick, Indiana, and offered him the biggest salary on the Celtics, and Bird agreed to stay. And Red wasn't done there. In the 1980 draft,
Damn, how would you feel if Red Auerbach came to your house and offered you a salary like that? Man, oh man. You know what? Red Auerbach is the type of coach I would love to play for. I'm pretty sure you guys have the same thought process too. Red Auerbach is the type of coach that you would run through walls for. These are the type of coaches right here. Damn, good.
Auerbach executed a maneuver that was dubbed the Steal of the Century after he hoodwinked the Warriors to give him the number 3 overall pick and Robert Parrish in exchange for the 1st and 13th pick. Auerbach then drafted Kevin McHale, who he wanted all along, and knew that he was going to be available at number 3. So, with the big 3 of Bird, McHale, and Parrish, which many believe to be the greatest front court in NBA history, the Celtics,
in my eyes, they are the greatest front court. I don't see anything else other than the genius of Red Auerbach, the genius of the architect, knowing what pieces he want, what players he want, how he's gonna get them. Wow, that is crazy. The intellect, man.
immediately won the championship in 1981. In 1984, the Celtics won again. But while Auerbach was smoking his victory cigars, he was always thinking about the next move. In October 1984, Auerbach traded Gerald Henderson, one of the heroes of the Celtics title campaign that year, to the Seattle Supersonics in exchange for the right to a first-round draft pick in 1986. Before the 1986 season began, Red signed Bill Walton, who was once the best player in the NBA, but because of his ankles and constant injuries, nobody wanted anything to do with him. Well, nobody except Red. The risk paid off. Walton was the perfect complementary piece off the bench, and the Celtics won their third title in 5 years. After that season, because of that supersonic pick Red traded for 2 years prior, immediately after the championship parade, Boston had another reason to celebrate, because they got the number 2 pick in the draft, all thanks to Red's genius planning. The Cleveland Cavaliers had the right to the first pick, and since centers were always the first picks back then, Auerbach knew that the Cavs would select North Carolina center Brad Daugherty. And after the Cavs selected Daugherty, Red Auerbach could start celebrating. He got what he wanted, and that was Len Bias, the best collegiate player, and the guy who they projected would be even better than Michael Jordan.
He's the guy we wanted, and we got him.
Adding Bias to a core of Bird, McHale, and Parrish made the Celtics seem unbeatable, and the dynasty that could last another decade. But unfortunately, tragedy struck. Just 2 days after being drafted, Len Bias died from a cocaine overdose.
Len Bias, the Maryland University basketball star, on his way to becoming a
Oh,
world champion
man.
Boston Celtic, died of an apparent heart attack today at Leland Memorial Hospital in Prince George's County.
Len's death really affected Auerbach. Red knew the Bias family personally, and he never recovered from this tragedy, and neither did the Celtics. They made the finals again in 1987, but after Bird and McHale suffered serious injuries, the Celtics dynasty disintegrated. In 1990, Auerbach was 73 years old, and he was ready to change roles within the Celtics. And after 40 years, he no longer wanted to have the final say on coaching hirings, signing players, and making trades. Despite no longer being the Celtics' ultimate boss, Auerbach was still the team president and an essential part of the organization, helping coaches and advising the front office. He fulfilled his role as the president until 1997, and one of the last pieces of advice was for the Celtics during the 1996 draft, when he wanted Boston to draft Kobe Bryant. The old fox believed that Kobe was the best player in the draft, but he didn't want to impose his will on the team anymore, ultimately leaving
Even before leaving and retiring, walking away from the organization, he gave a suggestion with his eyes. Kobe Bryant. There's 2 hypotheticals. Number one, I wasn't much of a Boston Celtics fan. Okay. I always had some hatred for the Boston Celtics. Just my honesty. But over time, continue to learn the game of basketball and the history of professional basketball. I gained respect. 2 hypotheticals that I got. Len Bias. Oh, what would that have been? You had that front court was already the top, the best. And you add this guy. They said that be better than Michael Jordan. But 2 days after the draft. Rest in peace, man. Oh, brother. I got questions. If that did not happen, and the decline of Larry Bird and Kevin McHale, they just said injuries. Pretty sure they had Bill Walton at the time. That nucleus, how many chips would they have won? 1, 2, Kobe Bryant. What if he landed with the Celtics as per Red Auerbach suggested, and he went to go win 5 chips with LA? Hypothetically, those 5 chips would probably been Boston Celtics, or even more. I don't know. Just those 2 hypotheticals that just popped into my. Wow. Okay.
the decision to acting general manager M.L. Carr, who drafted Antoine Walker. Who knows? If they kept listening to Red, the Celtics'
Right.
title lead over the Lakers could have been way bigger.
Yeah, that's a big hypothetical. What if they listen to Red Auerbach? What if they listen to Red Auerbach? Oh man, oh man, oh man. Woo. But I mean, Celtics are still winning, to be honest. The organization, they won with the big three that we got on screen right here, right? With Doc Rivers, And then the later years, they did win with Boston. So they're continuing to win. I'm pretty sure it's the NBA playoffs right now. I haven't watched a game this season, and I will not be watching any games. Bro, this is mind blown. This is mind blown. His intellect. That has to be a God-given gift to know. Your intuition is like, hey man, this player right here, I know we could win with this player right there. Other people could be like, hey, this other player could be the best player in the draft. But at Red Auerbach eyes, he knows who's the true best option to choose. Let's go down let's go down his resume. Player, he played the game of basketball at a young age. Coached, general manager. He didn't even have any assistants. He didn't have a scout at the time. He was the scout. Red Auerbach is him. And then what else? The president moved up to the front office. Bro, the list is his rap sheet is deep. His rap sheet is deep. That is crazy. Absolutely crazy. And just I want to know what was running through his head and how he constructed these teams. And look at what the organization is. Woo. The winning is. The winning is. That's crazy. Guys, hit that like button on your way out. I'm at a loss for words right now, man. I'm at a loss for words. Wow. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new here for more basketball content. But it's not gonna be when I say basketball, I'm steering away from modern basketball and jumping in a time machine through these reactions. We're going through different eras. We're gonna go through different basketball players. It's gonna be mainly early 2000 all the way back to like, maybe 1960s or something like that. Uh, and if that's something that you look forward to, of course, hey, don't forget to comment down your recommendations, of course, of players, teams that I should look at. I already seen that you guys, suggested the Dream Team, right? Can't forget that, the 1992 Dream Team. Um, there's some other players too on the list. So definitely, I'm enjoying this journey. I'm enjoying this process. It's really good learning through it, learning from you guys, learning from the videos. It's really good. Then we got this. I gotta see this last joke before we get out of here, man. This guy right here, man. This guy right here ruined the NBA along with other players too because of their mentality, right? There's no competitiveness. There's no like spirit for the game of basketball. It's just a bunch of soft. It's a soft era of basketball. And this right here, that half jersey with the Miami Heat, when I was excited for at the time in 2010, now as I reflect back, I'm like, shh. I was excited, but that it was terrible. There were some competitiveness at the time, but those super teams coming together, it ruined it. It ruined it. It ruined from 2010 moving forward to now. The state of the NBA it's in bad shape. It's in bad shape. But hey, man, I'm gonna stop rambling. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.